Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at two figures from the 4-inch Batman the Caped Crusader line from Spin Master. So these are obviously kind of a mix. We have two different styles of packaging here. This is kind of an older release and this is a little bit newer. They were both really hard for me to find. In fact, I didn't find them. I have to give a shout out to my friend Corey, aka Frozen Stratos on Twitter. Because he actually found these for me where he lives and then, sent them to me. So very excited to get both of these. This is a bit of an older release. This is the Thomas Wayne Batman from Flashpoint. And this is actually kind of a variant because there was another version that had kind of a red circle behind the bat emblem. And then they kind of did like a running change where they just gave us a red outlined bat emblem on the chest and took the red circle away. So this is kind of a later release of the Thomas Wayne Batman. And then over here we have the Target exclusive Mr. Freeze. So if you watch the review I did for the Batwing flyer, that came with the Mr. Freeze, and I mentioned that there was a separate Target exclusive release where he would actually come with accessories. Well, here we are. That's this release. So very excited. Both of these should come with 3 accessories each, as you can see, kind of surprise mystery accessories. So we will go ahead and jump into these so we can take a look. I'm just going to go ahead and open this up. For this newer style of packaging, you open them up from the back, whereas in the front you pulled them, and I'll show you in a minute, but that opens up that way. So if we go ahead and open this up, there we go. So the first thing we have is kind of a, I guess, freeze ray. Next up we have another freeze ray. And then we have a third freeze. So there you go. We have freeze rays. We have some options. So we'll take a look at those in a minute. For this style of packaging, you have to kind of rip this. And then this, I think I actually have to, there we go. So they used to come with these little cardboard, not really trading cards, but just these kind of little cardboard cards that you could collect if you wanted to. And then you had the locker style of packaging over here. So we'll go ahead and find out what accessories we have. Okay, looks like we have the kind of 2-sword shield piece that we've seen before. That's nothing new. And then over here we have a batarang. And then over here we have a grappling hook. So pretty standard Batman accessories. So I'm going to go ahead, get these two out of the packaging, and we'll take a closer look. So here are our two figures out of the packaging. We'll start over here with Batman. He looks great. This is the original Batman mold, which has kind of the slimmer head, which I prefer. I love the glowing red eyes. I love the bat emblem outlined in red. We have a red utility belt, which goes all the way around. And then I believe these are supposed to be gun holsters. Now, I'm not super familiar with the Flashpoint comic, but from what I do know, and I guess spoilers if you've never read it. I've never read it, but these are just things I know from the internet. It's an alternate, obviously alternate timeline. Flash created by going back in time and meddling. And Bruce actually dies. Thomas Wayne becomes Batman. I believe Martha Wayne becomes the Joker. So very crazy timeline. But that's what this, I believe, is supposed to be a reference to. And I believe that Batman actually used guns. So he had 2 gun holsters on the legs. Now, he doesn't really come with any guns. We saw the accessories that he came with, but at least those holsters are kind of painted on the legs there. As far as the articulation goes, head can go from side to side. You have a hinge and a rotation in the shoulder. You have a hinge and a rotation in the elbow. The forearm and hand is all one solid piece. Nothing in the waist. You can kick forward. You can kick out to the side. Can't really go that far back because of the way the butt is done. You have a thigh swivel there. You have a hinge and a rotation in the knee. And then the entire boot is one solid piece, so no articulation there. And then you have that kind of soft nylon cape that all the Batman releases have. So not really anything new there either, but just a very cool variant. One of the more obscure references they've done in this line, so pretty cool. I mean, not super obscure, but I guess, especially for a kid's line, that's kind of a more mature comic, I guess, for lack of a better term. And he does come with these accessories, so he has the grappling hook launcher. He has the batarang. And then he has this piece that's like a shield that you can kind of take apart to become 2 small blades. So, again, these are all accessories we've seen several times before, so not really that exciting, but this is kind of a weird yellow plastic with some kind of darker orange kind of swirled into it. which is kind of neat. So definitely kind of a cool color scheme there. But yeah, this Batman looks really good. Very happy to add him to my collection of about, 15, 20 Batmans at this point, because there's so many Batmans in this line. So many Batmans. Alright, so let's take a look at Mr. Freeze next. He looks pretty cool. Now, if you watch the review I did with the kind of Batwing Flyer 2-pack, here is the Mr. Freeze from that release. And I'll say that this one just looks a little bit sharper. I feel like the gray bits are kind of more of a steel. They definitely have a metallic sheen to them. You can see that those pieces on his shoulder are painted over here where they are not over here. You can see that you have that little bit of green here on the chest that's also missing. And I will say this is kind of a frostier dome, if that makes sense. This one's a little bit clearer. You can see the head sculpt a little bit better. And this one's got kind of a bluish tint to it. Now, I kind of like both because naturally I want it to be clearer so I can see the head sculpt underneath. But this one definitely has kind of a more frigid aspect to it. It definitely looks like it's more frosted over. You believe it's colder inside there than it is out here, which is actually kind of a neat effect. So, not sure if it was intentional, but I actually kind of like it. So, I definitely like having both versions. Again, the kneecaps are not painted over here on this version. So I think I generally like the overall color scheme and paint applications on this one, but I do kind of like that frostier dome. So I don't know. I think it's worth having both. They are subtly different. Articulation is going to be the same. Obviously, nothing in the head. You have the hinge that stops about there because of the way his shoulders are done, but you can rotate. You have a hinge and a rotation there in the elbow. The forearm and hand are all one piece, nothing in the waist. You can kick forward. You can kick out to the side, but again, this piece on the thigh kind of bumps into it and hinders it. Can't really go far back. Thigh swivel, and then you have a knee, hinge, and rotation there. And then again, from the knee down is all one solid piece. Now, the nice thing is he comes with an assortment of different ice weapons, and they're done in this really cool kind of translucent, bluish white, to kind of give you like a frost motif, which I really like. Now this I think is some kind of Batman weapon because it's got a Batman symbol right here. So this is just something they kind of repurposed. It's still a cool looking blaster, I'm not going to lie. But it's obviously got some kind of affiliation for Batman. And it's actually kind of difficult to fit it into his hand here. There we go. So there's that blaster if you like that. Personally, I like these two. And I'm not sure what these are from, but these are definitely repaints of other releases in the line. Nothing is specific to Mr. Freeze, but you have this one here, and then you also have this one here. Now, the cool thing is, because he comes with 3, if you'll remember from the previous Mr. Freeze review, he did not come with any accessories. But now, since the other Mr. Freeze has some to share, we can go ahead and give him one of these. And now the first Mr. Freeze is kind of more whole because we have a freeze blaster for him. Which, let's be honest, you can't have Mr. Freeze without a freeze blaster. It's kind of his whole MO, right? So, kind of excited that he comes with 3 accessories so I can share one over here. And now I feel like both Mr. Freeze figures are complete because they have some kind of freeze blaster, which is just something the character needs. He has to have one. So I think both of these are really cool. Definitely recommend picking them up if you can. With Mr. Freeze, maybe you don't personally need both versions. I would say just pick which one is your favorite and go from there. I'm leaning towards the one in the vehicle pack as kind of the superior Mr. Freeze because I do really like the steely coloring instead of just the gray, and I like the extra paint applications that he has. But I do kind of like this frostier dome up here. I do really kind of like that. Both of them have the red goggles, which I think he absolutely needs, so I appreciate that. So like I said, each one has pluses and minuses. If I absolutely had to choose between the two, I would probably pick this one. I just think he looks a little bit sharper. His colors are just a little bit more vibrant. But that's not to count out this one. And I completely understand if you don't want to buy that vehicle pack because you might not want anything but Mr. Freeze. So then the Target exclusive here is definitely a viable option. It is missing a few paint applications, but it is a lot cheaper because you can actually pick this up for $8 as opposed to having to buy that entire pack and vehicle pack for $20. So if you really don't want anything in that pack besides Mr. Freeze, then this is a viable option for you. But Thomas Wayne Batman, very, very cool. Very excited they did this variant in the line because it's not something I would think they would normally do for children's line. But hey, I'm very excited to have it. So let me know what you guys think of these two in the comments below. Tell me which one's your favorite. Tell me which Mr. Freeze you like better. I want to hear from you guys. So tell me in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.